So, Stefan, one of the all-pervasive concerns that we see many of our clients and contacts talking to us about is cybersecurity, which, not surprisingly, therefore, is going to be one of the panel themes at the European Technology Summit. What do you see as being one of the key areas of concern there?
I think obviously this is a top priority for any CEO currently in the businesses. Actually, if you ask any top GC or top CEO, well, what is your main concern in terms of threat? Obviously, it's really about cybersecurity. Well, what we see as a change, we came from a legal standpoint and from a priority standpoint in businesses, a huge attention to privacy, a huge attention to personal data, and that's been through obviously influenced by the GDPR implementation. But clearly, I think this is a wider topic. Cybersecurity threat is about actually what's the value of the companies. And then we all know that we are moving now to a data world where what is making the value of a particular business is how it collects, how it hosts, how it protects its own data in order, obviously, to build new services. And all this data lake, for instance, that every company is building for building new services is a high importance for them. So the cybersecurity plan is a wider, obviously, project for any company and wider threat, because this is targeting not just obviously this personal data, but the value of the company itself. So that's the trend I see, because in terms of perception, in terms of understanding, in terms obviously of preparation, that influence many change in business operations. In every function in the company is actually needs to be involved. So the key point is really about what is the cyber plan, how do you prepare, how do you anticipate from a legal standpoint, from a technical standpoint, from a forensic standpoint, what are your people you can work and actually be there in event you have a data breach, whatever this data is about.
So a true holistic approach rather than just a little sniper fire.
But what about you, Kit? What do you see as really one of the key trends at the moment?
Particularly for me, the focus upon retail tech is going to be really interesting, and I'm particularly focused, therefore, upon that topic from a personal point of view. So if I look across the retail companies who we work with, they are truly disrupted. I mean, you only need to look at the impact of technology on the high street in any country, not just the UK, but any country within Europe, to realise what a fundamental impact technology has had already upon their businesses. And so the journey that they're going on and how they see themselves not fighting against technology, but trying to harness it and use it to secure their futures, I think is going to be fascinating.
So this is a sector that's been disrupted probably before many others, and probably one of the first. I think what is really, I think, the current, I would say, additional, second wave of disruption in this retail sector? Do you see any new topics on that?
Well, I think what we're going to be seeing is the impact of the state and regulation upon it. I think we're already seeing moves towards some degree of protectionism of the old bricks and mortar industry. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So that all the discussions about digital taxes and how particularly that may play out as between Europe and the US. I think that's a fascinating topic to watch. I'll be very interested to hear from our panelists as to how they think that will play out in practice. I think also the shift ever more towards electronic marketplaces. I think it'll be interesting to see how some of the traditional players grab hold of that opportunity.
I think the customer experience is really what we see as a big challenge, I think, with this project, to have these shops with you go into and you recognize visible by face recognition technology, and then obviously payment systems aligned with that, and what are just cameras taking what you just take in the shop and just you leave the store without any go to indication. That's the some of the trends we've seen.
Well, I think that technology experience point, I think, is fascinating, because if you look at, again, in another sector, financial services, banks have realized that their branches have to be an experience. It has to be driven by technology, but it has to be an experience to still be relevant. We're now looking at organizations across the world using chatbots and AI. Again, it's all about the experience of the user when they come online, to not just feel that they're answering some form of a multi-choice questionnaire, but rather that they're having an experience of engaging with their relevant counterparty. So that's all technology enabled. I think that's a big push for the future.